That's the way to go, even this morning.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I give you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigerian for Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
The nation, we're passionate, we're trustworthy, and we'll bring you this conversation this side of the Niger. We're pretty for being a part of our conversation every single day, from the morning crossfire to what's happening in Abuja and the sideshow. And now we're here with Hard Facts. I'm the Oracle, the digital Oracle. You can call me the fellow OTF Madam Speaker, but just call me Kim and that'll be fine.
Hi, Kim.
How you doing?
Hello, thank you. How are you?
Fine and well.
I have a good day so far, or is it? Is it?
Fantastic.
but I'm good.
The day's been long,
Yes.
but very productive.
Okay, good. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
then.
long but productive. So I can't complain. I wouldn't change it for a minute.
Okay, we're going to have a good time today on the show. I went to a government press today, and usually when I'm there, I'm always ready to use the last card, which is, do you know who I am? I don't know who I am, but I'm always ready to use that. But the good thing is, things went really smoothly, and I was a bit... Oh, okay. This is not so bad, and we can learn to be this way and give proper service. I think life will be a lot easier for Nigerians. I was impressed by the service.
There are some government parastatals that can pull that off. Very few and far in between.
Yes, I
but
agree.
Then you still have something there. And then every day they surprise. Go, okay, we're still in Nigeria. This somewhere in Canada. Yes, it can happen. We can have excellent, efficient service here and customer service delivery. It doesn't matter. We just need to do it. I'm glad you had a fantastic day. All right, it's Wednesday, and you know what happened? I'm always tempted to say your Wednesday, Nick. That'll be stealing from who used to say it back in the day on NTA, your Sunday, Tonic.
Yeah. I miss hearing that.
Exactly.
I miss hearing that.
I know, right? But your Wednesday Tonic is here. Dr. Majid Daru, researcher, columnist, tech team lead of Luke's Terra Leadership Foundation. Dr. Majid, good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you very much, the Oracle.
I agree you.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Great to always see you.
You look fantastic, white smile today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
shit is given.
Oh, really?
If I see Dr. blushing, you see a dark man with colors on his...
Well, it's good to be here.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
being
much.
here.
Good afternoon to our listeners.
Yes, and just so you know, we're streaming live on YouTube. Not on Facebook. It'll be on Facebook a little later, but we're doing it live on YouTube. And to follow us, subscribe on YouTube and follow Real Time Nigeria Info Abuja. All right? They use hand for YouTube. Is it just for Twitter?
No, you can search the handle as well. You can search the handle or just Nigeria Info Abuja, and it'll take you straight to the page.
All right, Nigeria Info Abuja, handle at Nigeria Info AB. We're streaming live. You want to see Dr. Majid, fine. And then the playback will also be on YouTube for you to follow up. So those people asking me, where is the link to listen to the conversation? You know where to find this moving forward.
You can do that, yeah. And also check out Facebook as well. Same handle at Nigeria Info. And of course, interact with us on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget, we'll also be taking your feedback via the YouTube page. So it's important that you, for right now, click the little bell on the page and it will give you notifications as to when we are live, so you don't miss out on the action right here.
All right, so Emefiele is back in the country, the CBN governor. A lot of people have been waiting, some with bated breath, waiting for him to return and seeing what he would do the first 24 hours when he gets back to office, seeing if there's going to be some memo, secular press statement, whatever thing. What's been going on by back? What's with all of the allegation or whatnot? But it's been some bit of quiet kept from Camp Emefiele. However, there's still a whole lot. And there's some ripped about presence of security personnel around, is it his office, his residence, just pockets of them. And no arrest has been made. However, they're there. Like, what are they for exactly?
Well, the police chief made a statement stating that he had no idea that he had...
You know, that's the interesting part. The DSS will tell you had no idea this was going on and stuff like that. So it's just usual in the country. So no idea it happened, but somehow there were pockets of police officers around his residence. But what we for sure is that the governor apparently wants to see him.
Yes, they do. Let's get into the film right now about Nigerian government inviting Emefiele over Naira redesign, cash withdrawal policy. Now, the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, has invited the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to a virtual meeting. The meeting, which is scheduled to hold virtually on Thursday, has as agenda the Naira redesign as well as CBN's new policy on cash withdrawal. Now, this is contained in a statement by Forum's head of media and public affairs, Abdul Razak Bankido, on Tuesday night. According to the statement, the invitation to the CBN Governor was issued by Aminu Tambuwal, chairman of the forum and the governor of Sokoto State. For the virtual meeting, the agenda is titled The Economic and Security Implications of Naira Redesign and Withdrawal Policy. Now, the NGF also said the discussion promises to foster participation and dialogue between various stakeholders, including government and civil society organizations, and I quote, to come up with a solution to the lingering problem. Now, one would think that before we jumped on this policy and decided to redesign, would have done a bit of visibility study so that we meet all the stakeholders, those who are concerned, and get a bit of an idea as to what we should expect if this policy were to be passed. Like it's already on right now. What could change? Would we need to recall the redesign? Would we need to change the deadline? What exactly would this meeting amount to eventually?
And to add to that, Dr. Majid, the Federal High Court in Abuja also wants to see the CBN governor summoned him over $53 million judgment debt rising from the Paris Club refund. And apparently someone took the case to court. And so they say, well, just come over and answer a few questions. It's the man of interest. Everybody wants to see him.
See, the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, has become Nigeria's most wanted man. Everyone wants to see. Everybody wants him to answer to one or two questions. Now, talking about the NGF plan meeting for tomorrow with the governor of the CBN, with an agenda that's mainly focused on the Naira redesign as well as the cashless policy that the CBN seeks to actually implement. It's an interesting development. Concerns have been raised about the sustainability of this policy. As at yesterday, for example, we drew money from a POS vendor and they were still dispensing Naira notes.
And that's today.
Some people will tell you that even as at today, ATMs are still dispensing old Naira notes. Ordinarily, when you have a deadline for withdrawal of old notes and the issuance of new ones, from the day you fix the deadline, no old notes will come out of any banking institution anymore. Once you take it, the old notes, it doesn't come out anymore. So what you are issued are the new ones. So the fact that old notes are still being issued from banking institutions, ATMs, from POS operators, at this time that is barely less than 13 days to the deadline, not at the first deadline, is indicative of chaos at the expiration of the line. Chaos, serious chaos. And people have also argued, and I think I tend to agree with some of those arguments. Does Nigeria need to be any less cashless than it already is? I was listening to somebody, Muda Yusuf, who was, I think, is it chairman of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry? Somebody who I think is in a good position to know some of these things. Actually, for example, that Nigeria already is more cashless than the United States of America.
How so?
Because according to him, the cash to GDP ratio of America is 10%, while that of Nigeria is 1.5%. Because there was always a cashless policy in Nigeria. They're only trying to limit it more. And from what I know, if you compare Nigeria with other countries, cashless policy is like a financial lifestyle. It's not something you do for security or political reasons. No. It's a financial lifestyle. It's like migrating people from the cumbersomeness of cash transactions to one that is seamless and easy. So you have an app on your phone, you can do transfers, you can do purchases, you have a card. So it becomes more easier it becomes much easier for you to do cashless transactions, and it's more beneficial, it is quicker, it is simply more convenient. So gradually, yes. And it also helps financial tidiness. It helps in frugality as well. Because sometimes, if you think of cash possessions, it makes you to spend money that you don't need to spend. So, these are the norm, across the world. The financial lifestyle thing. It's not something that you do in this manner. I mean, with all sorts of speculations. First, the He also came out to say it's going to help to fight insecurity, corruption, and all of that. You created a panic in the system that sent the Naira tumbling against the dollar, and we are yet to come from the levels that the Naira has devalued from the time this policy was announced, because we are still hovering over it. So it was 100 Naira mark, whereas it was 100 Naira plus when the announcement was made. And uncertainty system. So the question is, how much more cashless can it be at this point? So is it a priority that it is being rushed through? That is one question. Now, on the issue of the design of the note, the feelings I'm getting from people who should know is that they've not printed enough of these currencies.
Deputy Governor was talking about making order of 500 million
Yes.
of the redesign Naira.
Exactly.
However, she didn't state how much of it we had in circulation
She said
already.
she doesn't have the
Idea,
exact,
yeah.
figure.
Yeah.
So somebody who should know from the, from some sources are saying, look, it's not enough. It can't go around. It's not enough in circulation. And so what do we do if by the end of January 31st, banks are unable to actually provide these notes within the limits of their cashless policy? And what is saying, at limit, even within the limits. That's one. Ordinarily, as a Nigerian, I'm not concerned about cashless policy or the limit, except for places where they don't have access to financial institutions, where you don't have, financial penetration enough. But for such concerns, I mean, the current levels of withdrawal, I think is okay for a economy like Nigeria and for people that are living far below the poverty line. So I don't even think anybody has such wherewithal to withdraw larger than has been approved. So that's not even the real problem. The problem is, even these ones you have upped, do we have enough backbone to sustain it? These are the concerns people are raising. And I bought fuels, for example, at a petrol station, and I discovered that maybe in preparation for the cashless policy, clearly, APL's vendor was standby.
They've always been on standby before Murphy came up with that policy.
the vendors are telling me that they don't have their own POS. So I have to
You have to withdraw the cash
and pay.
You have to through the independent
And so I
POS
have to pay
operator.
some extra,
100 or 2.
or 200 for about 10,000 worth of petrol. So these are some of the issues that people are looking at. So it's good that the governors are going to meet with him. Policies are made for people are not made for policies. So let them look at it holistically. And if it will hurt the economy, please, something should be done about it. If you ask what can be done now, yes, it can be. 2 things can be done, really. Is that you extend the deadline for the reissuance of new notes and the submission of the old ones. Or, on the other hand as well, you can as well, if you're not able to print enough notes, you can as well forgo the quality of the design for now. So have a mix of the two until such a time that you are able to print enough. So these are things that can be done easily. As for the cashless policy and the limits, nothing that is actually hurtful for now. I don't know if anybody else has another opinion. Let me quickly point out this. A lot of people are supporting this policy solely because they feel it's targeted at politicians. And I have the point. You see, it's not the role of the central bank to come up with monetary policies that are politically motivated. No, it's a very wrong thing to do and encourage. We have security agencies that are responsible for tackling electoral crimes such as vote buying, for example. And this is done in the open. We need too much of intelligence to tackle it. Monies are shared at certain days, nobody knows. Because some of the VIPs that are sharing money have security details all around them. They have DSS attaches, they have police guarding them. So they have the information. So all you need to do is to arrest people that are planning abdication to share money. Take the money, arrest them, prevent those that are sharing that they doing it. And when you catch any of them doing it, prosecute them immediately. You see, sometimes you see VIO, safety and all other traffic relevant enforcement agents at one spot with a magistrate.
The mobile court there.
The mobile court that tries traffic offenders or those that are driving without necessary requirements such as driver's license or license, what they call paid up insurance and all of that. Documentation. So we can have that on election, have a mobile court, stand by.
But how many of it you have spread all over the country?
Since it's an epidemic, we can have it. In any case, it can prevent it. It doesn't take too much of intelligence. What it requires is political will, because in any case, those that are conduct security services and agencies are those that are actually most guilty of buying and vote, selling. So that is the problem. So it's the responsibility of government and security agencies to do. So you don't impart a policy that will hurt the economy of people, then try to celebrate it because you're going to hurt another big man that is intending to buy vote. In any case, you see this big man, they know how to put money to buy vote. So that's not something you should worry about. It will happen when it will happen.
Already speculating that the reason why we're not the redesign Naira in circulation is because we mopped up. That's some sort of theory, conspiracy theory to feel
let's not
the vacuum.
undermine the capability of the so-called, you think, are going to buy votes, for mischief. They know how to money some votes. But like I said, the only way to prevent vote buying is to punish it. Prevent it, and then where it's not preventable, punish immediately. Make examples of everybody that is involved, and people will begin to behave themselves. So, what the role of the CBN to begin to come up with political?
But then they can support. They can support. If you see something is coming, some sort of cancer, every agency, everybody somehow can
rally together and
to see how you can address the problem, because you already admitted that it's some sort of pandemic.
Yes. You see, that the CBN is supposed to remain a political. Its leadership should be non-partisan at times.
But that ship has sailed with Emefiele's leadership.
And that is even the people are suspicious of this policy. Like, are you trying to do this to hurt somebody whom you think didn't emerge ahead of you, whatever, and in the process hurting the economy? So what we're saying is, it's not the business of the CBN, in principle, to be concerned about voting. Just bring out monetary policies that are relevant to the economy. Securities should do their work. This is not in the open. It's not done through. It's open. People park their cars, the so-called party agent stand. And once you signal, you show him from afar that you vote for his party. He signals to the person with money. You go there, sit down in the car, and pick up your cash. So it's done, and policemen stand there and watch. Where these monies are disbursed, in fact, let me surprise you. Sometimes, to fix heavy monies from designated points to party leaders in the localities, police officers actually escort these monies, knowing fully well that these monies are for vote buying. So let the police begin to do his work. That should be the pressure. Do your work. When you see evil, please.
Do something about it.
Something about it. Don't turn a blind eye on it because it's not normal. Yes, that's focus we should actually be having now.
All right. So the governors have summoned him. Let's hope he's got all of the answers to give when he gets to them. He's been summoned also by the National Assembly before now. He didn't show up. Deputy Governor went there, gave the answer that he had. And, we'll get to see how this pans out. And if the government would be forced through the CBN to extend the deadline of the Redesign Naira becoming the only legal tender, or somehow they will dole out
13
more
days to the
deadline.
It's still not in circulation, even from the banks. So something has to be done about it.
Yeah. All right, here we have Fidelis. Good to know you're listening to us. Buchi, the $1 trillion. Good to know you're on our YouTube page. Nigeria, Asirba says Nigeria lacks the capacity to manage fiscal pressures. Our monetary policies are not working effectively. We look beyond traditional economic theories and use workable economic policies. That's Asiru Abbas. Leave more thought on our YouTube page. Let's get to the next story, shall we?
All right, moving on to the next story right now about the fuel subsidy and what Zainab Ahmed is saying about that. Okay, so this one right here says subsidy borrowing to import fuel. Minister, she also went on to state that fuel subsidies could be partially removed from April 2023. Now, Zainab Ahmed, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, says the federal government may begin the gradual removal of petrol subsidy. I spoke on Tuesday during an interview. After an 18-month extension, the federal government plans to spend 3.35 trillion naira on subsidy from January till June 2023. Now, speaking during the interview, that the petrol subsidy regime must be exceeded revenue that would have gone into government coffers. Now, asked if she felt betrayed that subsidy had not removed despite her best efforts to ensure removal, she stressed that it was a collective decision to retain the payments. And now she added that the president does not want to take measures that would put more economic hardship on Nigerians. So I quote, according to her, in June 2023, we should be able to exit. The good thing is we hear a consistent message that everybody is saying this thing needs to go. It's serving the majority of Nigerians. On the flip side, Nigeria is ready for it to exit because once this gets taken out, the fuel would increase. Now, people have about that stating that it will become readily available for Nigerians. But, when fuel increases, how things just skyrocket, things go crazy. Now, are people earning enough to be able to meet up with what could come from the increase in the price of fuel? And how do we find a balance and ensure that while the funds are used for the right reasons and Nigerians are cushioned enough to be able to handle whatever comes out of it?
It's a funny contradictory that the finance minister said as part of her statement that why they have left the subsidy in place is because the president was concerned about the hardship that it would bring upon Nigerians, which was to be moved. Now,
was that a statement by the finance minister? Okay, she reiterated it here because I know that's the narrative coming from Femi Adesina.
And now, so it tells you something clear. So for example, that if you remove subsidy, it's going to hurt the common man, it's going to create hardship. And yet you consider the best policy to do to remove subsidy. You begin to wonder what again is supposed to be the function or the responsibility of government? Welfare and security, right? Have been issue. We have no business as an oil-producing country importing petrol.
Dr. Majid, can we take it up from here after the commercial break? Let's go on a very quick break, and when we return, we'll get to hear a whole lot more about Dr. Majid on this. Stay with us. Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk. YouTube at Nigeria Info ABJ. Over to you.
Yes, it is a sad commentary that the conversation appears to have shifted from Nigeria's inability to fix refineries, build new ones, and get us self-sufficient in the domestic consumption of peace to subsidy as an issue. The issue is not subsidy. Look, this is the point I've made over and over again. It's not about subsidy, it's about the fact that you're importing petroleum first and foremost. We are not supposed to import petroleum because you're an oil-producing country. And this government promised, as part of its campaign promises, to resuscitate ailing refineries, build new ones, and stop the importation of petrol. And every year they've set a timing for the end to importation and at the beginning of local refining. And this is the 8th year, and that promise has not been kept. It is not my responsibility as a citizen to take care of my energy security. No, it is the responsibility of government. Contemplating removing subsidy in April is because you want to sustain it until after the election, right? Why not now face the consequences at the polls? It is a wrong policy. It is not supposed to be the policy in the first place. However, at this point, what government should be talking about is how to resuscitate refining infrastructure in Nigeria enough to make us refine what we consume and export, as other countries doing. The conversation shouldn't be about subsidy at all. Yes, there could be corruption in the subsidy regime payment, there could be inefficiencies. That again is the failure of government, it's the responsibility to tackle it. And I hear people talk about subsidy of petroleum being actually subsidizing consumption. A lot of pundits, like the minister rightly said, people there's a proponent of opinion in Nigeria. True. She's right that subsidy should, as if subsidy is just one evil thing that should go. Let me draw the attention of Nigerians to the fact that subsidizing payments is not subsidizing consumption in any way. Nobody drinks petrol. Petrol is the life of our economy. It is used for our logistics. It's used for our SMEs, particularly because of epileptic power supply. PMS is a key component of production in Nigeria. So any marginal increase in the price of PMS will cost to production and will escalate inflation in Nigeria. In case you do not know, it was the first increase in PMS in 2016, 87 Naira to 145, when subsidy was first removed by this administration.
We had a jump.
A jump
to double digit.
To double digit. Other people are not paying attention, I don't know. That was the reason. And then said the prices will come down because there will be availability, people import. It didn't come down because you know why? The pressure on importation kept the Naira sliding against the dollar in value. So for any foreign exchange differentials against the Naira, we put additional cost on the PMS, on the production of PMS. If you do that today without fixing refineries, without getting Nigeria's local refining capacity and doing, you have tied doors to the uncertainties, forces of international pricing regime of energy, which no country survives easily. The problem that the UK is facing today. Energy is a affair. I can't overemphasize because you know why? That's what energy security. Today suffering from acute energy insecurity. A plenty power supply, high cost and unavailability of PMS, diesel, high cost of diesel, high cost of kerosene, anything that powers our lives comes under energy products. Once there is inaffordability in energy prices, it creates a major crisis in the economy. It creates cost of living crisis for the people. If it's also not available, it's the same thing. So for energy security to actually be considered as being in place in any country, for energy to be available and affordable, and government can never stop subsidizing energy anywhere in the world. Don't deceive yourself. It's not possible. The UK today has spent over $100 billion to subsidize energy in the UK. It is still not enough. Let me not tell you in the UK. It is because the government is no longer involved in the means of production of energy since the 80s. So it is now in the hands of private sector individuals. And so, where with the disruption in supply chains arising from the Russia-Ukraine war, there is an additional cost to energy. So the private companies are simply concerned about their profit. But it's available, but it's unaffordable. Government has to subsidize, but it's not enough. As I speak to you today, crime rate in the UK has soared. You know why? People cannot afford to pay electricity bills. A family member of mine who is a resident of UK informed me that UK citizens have now tampered with their meters.
I was listening to a conversation on LBC, the biggest conversation, and they were talking about it.
And that people now steal wristwatches, sunglasses, any luxury item to sustain their lives. You know what this tells you? When our government fails to provide welfare for citizens,
crime rate spikes.
It's natural. The reason why you surrender your sovereignty as human beings to government is in exchange for your welfare security. So it is government's responsibility to intervene where necessary. And for emphasis, for those who say that subsidy on consumption, for example, is such an evil thing to do, let me bust your bubble. There's something also called food security, availability and affordability. America spends tons of billions, if not trillions of dollars annually to subsidize food. It's the same thing in the UK, same thing in the European Union, same thing in China, same thing in the Middle East, same thing in any country that is well off, that is considered to be prosperous. Food is subsidized. Nobody buys food items at commercial. It's not possible. The reason why, for example, we have rice available in Nigeria today, it's available. But the cost is high because nobody is subsidizing the pricing. Normally, nobody is supposed to subsidize consumption because consumption of welfare. If I don't consume good food, how will I be productive? But yes, we cannot afford to subsidize food yet. But we must subsidize energy. But the subsidized energy, we must start first by fixing our refineries, getting them to work. Then if the cost comes down because of the differentials in furniture not applied because we are producing locally, you can now manage it. But if for any reason there is an additional cost, it will make the price of PMS to go beyond the reach of the common man. Government has a responsibility to come in to subsidize. Subsidy is not a bad thing. It's not an evil economic people. It is a social responsibility of government.
The social responsibility aspect, people would not argue. When you get a consistent narrative coming from government, or we're borrowing to even pay for subsidy, it becomes a bit more troubling.
It is the fault of government that they are not able to work to create wealth. It is not my fault as a citizen. How is America able to subsidize pay in America without borrowing? How is China to do it? How is Saudi Arabia able to do it? Why? Because they have a productive economy that their government created. Our government didn't create a productive economy. So it's like take a child, for example, that because of the responsibility of his father, who is the government he knows, to provide him with milk, and then the father has to go and borrow to provide him with. And so the child should forgo drinking milk at his formative stage because the father is able to work hard enough, like his other mates, to provide milk for this child. It is the responsibility of the father to go out and eke out a living to provide for the child. The child has no business knowing how I'm going to provide it. That's the role of government. Let me tell you, we've been bamboozled by neoliberal economic pundits since 1999 about why government simply has of all aspects of life. I wonder from which textbook are they reading? In other parts of the world, government subsidizes education. In America, primary, secondary education, university education is subsidized.
University education subsidized because I know they pay through their nose.
Student loans. It is you that is not a secretary through your nose. Then the government of America gives grants to private universities in addition to funding their own government-owned universities. You see, there's this issue that came up one bit about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Tinubu had his first degree from Chicago State University. Yes, he had his first degree from there. But another university called University of Chicago. It's a great university. It's more prestigious. Sometimes people that attend Chicago State University sometimes try to make it look like attended University of Chicago. What happened with his form in 1999? Somebody filled, according to him, Tokuma Fiyumi mistakenly filled University of Chicago rather than Chicago State University. Now, why am I making this example? Chicago State University is a very subsidized university, particularly for students in America, to earn a degree. While University of Chicago is a private university, an Ivy League school It's expensive. But even at that, government subsidizes them through education grant for research and other kind of works. In fact, the greatest source of revenue for American private universities, including Yale University, including Harvard, including IT, is government funding.
So, Dr. Meji, you're saying subsidies should stay?
What I'm saying is,
you've given solid argument.
Energy should be affordable to Nigerians. Call it subsidy if you like. Whatever you want to call it. Nigerians will be able to buy PMS at a rate that will not disrupt the economy, impoverish them, make it harder for them. It is the responsibility of government.
But saying that we're having to borrow to be able to sustain this, of course, she's also made a point that it will be taken off gradually from April so that Nigerians are not hit by the sun removal. And when we're babied all the way, right, up until April, and June comes, and there's a sudden removal, it puts a bit of a burden on the next government coming into place, and whatever plans they have to sustain or remove might be, debated at the time. So, what is the right move right now? Should they be taken off at once in April while we wait for the next administration? Should we have a partial removal in April and try to figure out our way until June when we get into maybe or may not it to be removed? Of course, thinking about or talking about refineries right now, we have the Dangote refinery real soon, and other ones being
sometime this month, maybe.
Yeah, I think 24th of January. 24th. Yes, and others being worked on according to the Minister for State Petroleum. And what's the way forward? Because we keep making excuses as to why things should not be removed, but then other sectors are suffering. The monies we're having to borrow to fund subsidy in this regard.
The fundamental question is this: Nigeria has no business borrowing to fund anything in Nigeria. Other oil producing countries like us made a fortune in the last year. Because why? There was an increase in price of crude oil in the international market. There was an increase in price of energy commodities and products all over the world. And Nigeria, being a major energy producer, was supposed to make a kill like Angola here, like Saudi Arabia, like Kuwait, like Qatar, like Russia itself, and even Ukraine at the same end of bombing from Russia. Why didn't you do that? It's not fault of the city, it is fault of the government. That they didn't maximize even X of petroleum products. Our oil export, for example, suffered a setback because of called oil theft. Is it the responsibility of citizens to secure gas exploration infrastructure? It's not the government's responsibility. Government failed to secure its own oil fields enough to prevent loss of products. It is not my fault. It's fault of government. So if the government is now borrowing, it is their fault. You cannot transfer your failure to the citizens, no. And when you transfer that, it is a double failure for you. You have failed to live up to your responsibilities as government. You have failed your campaign promises, and you have failed to uplift our lives as citizens. You left us worse than you've met us. So it's a collective failure for you. That is the government is going to face. But like you said, you asked about the incoming administration. All of the leading contenders have said they're going to remove subsidy if they want. And this is what I've said. It is because of the wrong narrative about the evil of subsidy. The evil, that's subsidy has become an economic evil that everybody has been conditioned, socialized to denounce.
It just feels like you remove it, everything fixes itself.
Which is not true. And so all of them have said we're going to remove it to save money to fund healthcare and I ask, in the school, the hospital you're going to build, you need energy products to run it. Do you get the point? Even if you are to invest all of these things, the cost of energy will make this same money you want to invest in education, paltry in value. That is one. Then what is even the guarantee that if you remove the subsidy, this money will go to the federal account? Is that not so? And to be sure that money of government. Can you imagine what they are trying to procure power now with the money? You think they wish to pay to further your welfare and security? No. You provide more money for those who actually want to consume this money.
Bailout fund comes to mind as what did you do with the bailout?
Given to the political leadership has been frittered. So what is the guarantee of remove subsidies? That the money will be used for anything useful, more useful than even subsidy. The question is energy security. We need to see a roadmap as to how energy will be affordable and available to Nigerians. It's not about subsidy. And we're trying to reduce this whole thing to subsidy. It's not about subsidy.
All right.
And I want to buy PMS at an affordable rate. It will be available. So simple as that. I like back market for the past 2 days.
I have
no LD. That is the responsibility of government, especially an oil producing one.
All right, let's look at some comments. We take about 2-3 phone calls seeing we're stream live. We just want to get some of your input in. We have one more story to go, but let's quickly take 2 thoughts on the stories we've looked at so far. Call us up on 0809 9930 or 009574869 or 0700 951 0000.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Majid.
Hello, sir.
I greet all of you. You are talking of subsidy. This is the government that came to power. They said subsidy was a scam. They injected this fuel at of 87 naira per liter and now increase it for 145. And as I'm speaking to you, Dr. Majid, it traveled to the neighboring state. They buy fuel rate of 300 naira. So we have the president as Minister of Petroleum. Now, why don't want to come out this subsidy now is because the election. Because they are thinking they win, they may come to power, then they will remove the subsidy. Why can't they remove the subsidy now? Now we know how much is the kerosene per liter. Kerosene is almost 1,000 naira per liter. Diesel is almost 800 to 900 naira per liter. This is the government that come and they are fighting corruption. Today we are paying a 2.something naira
billion.
Yes, every day as full subsidy. And we have the government, we have the president as the Minister of Petroleum. And if we say no, it's the market. We have the regulation, we have the government, we have government agencies that look at these matters to enforce the law. So I don't
All right.
I want them to remove the subsidy so that all Nigerians will feel the pain. But it's not only me, but all of us, including people over there. We are going to all do it together.
I don't like pain, Salasi. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello,
Listening to you.
yes, Dr. Maki. I love your analysis, and I think Itodo and I think.
Good afternoon, sir.
Engineer Dr. Maki, anytime I call this program, I used to please tell Sister Kim one thing. I was saying, current President serving House of Reps came with the fact about our refinery, about the money, all this turnaround that we used to get. They came with a document, money being paid, job being completed. That was signed last year on this news channel. I made a Rise News channel on Newsnight. I don't mix it before I go to sleep. They came with the fact and figures. Money being job being completed, as in contract being awarded, not being completed, money being paid. And up to today, none of those refineries is working. Nobody answered any question. The president, chief, the Minister of Petroleum, and nobody asked anything. Say something. Let me tell you something, Sister Kim. I just see that this country is just moving. We don't have any leadership.
All right, Ola.
From the president down, we don't have any leadership.
All right, thank you very much, Ola. Let's hear your thoughts next.
Hello, Kim.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Kim. Good afternoon, our guest.
Afternoon, sir.
My name is Chinedu. I'm calling for a lifetime.
Go ahead.
I think the guest said everything, just the way I think about it. Because when you hear the cry of this subsidy over the years.
All right, sorry about that. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jamil Nwachukwu.
Go ahead.
Well done, Mr. Meat.
Afternoon, sir.
Honestly, like as earlier said, is not anybody that wants to maintain power or want to come to become president that will tell you it's a moving subsidy that is telling people the truth. Because when you look at it, plain that there is only way to remove subsidy to make refinery work. Because if our refinery are working, you cannot even think about anything about subsidy. Because automatically the subsidy will buy itself because people will buy affordable and people will get it available. So why are you even thinking of subsidy when you don't have any workable refinery? Nobody is thinking of rebuilding our refinery. They are only thinking of subsidy. And then what the subsidy? They cannot be able to explain the subsidy. And now they are using it for campaign. With that, they are telling us about subsidy. They cannot be able to define what is subsidy. The only way to do subsidy is to allow refinery. If we have availability well in Nigeria, why are we even bringing it outside? Then what is subsidy? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for calling. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hey, what is going on?
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Hola. I'm calling Dubai, and I greet Mr. Mojid very well. This
Hello, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I want to align my thoughts with what Mr. Mojid said. It does, even shifting this narrative from the question about whether subsidies should be removed or not.
I think this government has encouraged Nigerians to show to an extent that, look, whatever they give to us in terms of token, we just want to kind of, key into it, do it as it is, and move on with our lives. It's not supposed to be. Now, the narrative like it's not about removing the subsidy. It is about making a petroleum available for Nigerians. Making it cheap for Nigerians. So in a nutshell, we should not even be talking about the government that should be coming in now. We should be talking about, they should be thinking about, what you call policies that ensure that there is no subsidy in the process. When petroleum is made available to Nigeria, and we are paying at lesser prices than what we are doing now presently. That's why it's supposed to be. So whoever is amongst all these candidates, even though my choice, because of God Almighty, is Atiku Abubakar, let him call me. We want to, apart from not paying subsidy, we want to fuel, purchase at very available prices. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to achieve in this country.
All right, Ola. Thank you very much. We'll take more thoughts, but let's look at the third story quickly. And that's how much we've spent to reclaim our space.
$1 billion spent to regain territories from terrorists, according to the president. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday said Nigeria received the sweats of territories from terrorists by investing over $1 billion. Acquire hard and software from the United States and other friendly countries to carry out sustained operations against insurgency since 2015. The president said this while speaking at the African Conference for Peace 2023 in the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. Now, he was honored by the Abu Dhabi Peace Forum with award for threatening peace in Africa, and said there was a need to inculcate values and principles of tolerance and peace in educational institutions, and particularly among the youth. Now, he urged leaders to place a premium on youth development with more seriousness and actionable ideas in promoting skills acquisition while discouraging honors. Now, this award has been of a controversy, has raised a controversy on socials and, of course, across the country, stating that your country is not a peace and you're going all out to accept an award. You could have maybe cancelled attending or send someone to represent you and focus on the issues Nigerians are being in terms of the insecurity we're having to handle every other day. So, based off his statements, let's get your thoughts.
Well, let us consider him his right to, some shine and glory. At the twilight of his
Who wouldn't want that?
To go and get some awards here and there. We as citizens know that, well, if we are to really recommend an award for peace and security, definitely we will not be giving President such an award. Now, he made an interesting revelation about spending $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Fine. Maybe he was actually referring to the withdrawal of $1 billion in the school account, remember?
Is it to a weapon?
To buy, to procure the Tucan jets and some other, military capabilities to degrade terrorists in the country. Now, this is what I've been trying to say all along. With the kind of threat Nigeria is faced with from almost every corner of the country, $1 billion, even when it is well spent, is not enough to tackle insecurity. That's one. Secondly, the $1 billion that was spent had truly got rid of terrorists and retrieved areas under control from them. Not really, because they are no longer hoisting flags in one or two places. It does not mean that you have retrieved their areas of control from them. For as long as Nigerians are being kidnapped on the basis, for the fact that Nigerians are still killed, a report came out that the last 4 months, you can see the more that have been killed in Nigeria. As long as people are able to operate in those places without any interference from constituted state authority, it means that control of those places at that moment they are opting. That is what should be the focus. For example, the report from Niger State indicates that the Reverend Father that was set ablaze in his residence called for help for over an hour and there was no response. You know what that tells you? That part of the country where he was living at that moment is an ungoverned space. And that was why he was able to operate for 1 hour and no was arrested.
As a matter of fact, the people got livid and burnt a police station at Kafinkoro. It also resulted into death of one of the...
So we tell that, look, sometimes we tend to focus on the fact that before the 2015 election, Buhari insurgents were effectively in control of the government. The Jonathan administration used mercenaries, actually cleared those areas before the election. No elections took place in those places. And so the government actually inherited a largely, a country that is largely free of such level of oppression. But the occupation didn't stop because the terrorists also realized that holding terrorists as though they are state authorities was profitable and sustainable. So they invented a diffused method of holding territories, which is even more important. Because you may not see flags, but you cannot go in there. And if you go in there or not, you are done for it. So let's not bump our chest. Now, talking about the $1 billion. America's defense budget for 1 year alone in excess of $700 billion per annum. Yes.
700 billion?
Yes. For defense.
So you're saying this is even chicken change?
Saudi Arabia in 2020 or 2019 procured weaponry, armament from the United States worth $85 billion in one deal. America so far, their Western allies have given aid, military aid to Ukraine in excess of $5 billion in just 1 year. What am I in essence? How did this government get such amount of money to spend on their defense and national security? It brings back to the question of low productivity. Nigeria cannot adequately pay for its own security at this rate. But the president is making a big deal of $1 billion. What's $1 billion in a country that's at war?
With itself.
With it in multiple locations. From bandit terrorists in the northwest and in the north central to Boko Haram in the northeast and to the emerging threat of IPOB in the southeast, for example. And pirates, all forms of criminals that are capable of crippling the state. I thought $1 billion as part of the money you've spent. Although that's not all they've spent, but we're making it look like a big deal. It's not a big deal. Why am I saying this? To effectively contain what we have in Nigeria, apart from prudently managing available resources, we must grow the wealth of our nation. We must grow it.
How? Because
through productivity, through serious-minded government.
Like you've been hearing this from the 60s and the 70s, right?
A serious-minded government. Through a government that is business-oriented. Through a government that understands responsibility to the citizens and has rolled its sleeves, rolled up its trousers, and is ready to do the teamwork to get productive. I'll give you an example. I've said it severally that any of these people that are coming now must build up an integrated national development plan that ties every component part of the Nigerian economy to an export competitive economy. How do I mean? We need to see export of fruit and fruit from Benue into the international market. We need to see the export of finished garment products and shoes from Aba, utilizing the cotton and how do you call it, height and speed industry of Kano, Jigawa, and Katsina. We want to see that happen through Aba, ferrying into the port of Port Harcourt. We want to see an integrated economic system that ties every community to an export competitive one. So revenues from these ventures will now come by way of wealth of nation. So that business does not need to rely on foreign accounting to fund its needs. It has export competitive economy that can fund.
All right, let's go to a very quick break here. I'll take it off after the break. So with us, it's 95.1 Nigeria Info. The roundtable continues in a bit.
85.1 Abuja. Let's talk.
Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Hello. My name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Facts Show. I love to get opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is